Here we go for the tube. Not wasting any time. Say what up, tube.
What up, tube?
What up?
What up? All right, and last but certainly not least, we're going to rescan these audio devices and jump right into it. Y'all ready?
Let's do this.
Let's do this in 3, 2, and 1.
Welcome to another episode of
Business Bros!
Whoa, what was that?
I don't know. I was going for it. I was
did it.
feeling it, and it was there, and I was like, yes!
I'm rocking it.
I'm rocking it.
Happy Friday.
You stole my fire. I was going to make something happen.
The energy just changes when we do the Business Bros!
Yeah, I don't know. And then it went Mexican at the end. I don't know what it was. Or
I went lone wolf.
I went lone wolf.
Yeah. You know what happens?
Happy Friday, everybody. Hernan is here, host of the Business Bros podcast, along with my co-host,
the insurance bro, James C.S. with Pipeline Insurance. And as always, we have another exciting, fun, and informative show for all of you. Here we go. With the intro today, ladies and gentlemen, we are helping you unlock your cellular potential. Not your cell phone, your cells. Today's guest is bringing the science to the Business Bros. We've always dreamed of being like Wolverine and having superhuman healing. Well, we may not quite be there just yet, but this stem cell company and global provider network is making incredible strides in regenerative medicine. Coming to us from BrexoBio, please welcome BJ Retuya.
boom.
What's up, y'all?
How'd it do?
Perfect.
Dude, nailed it.
No movie voice,
You threw
though.
in the Wolverine.
Of course, dude.
That was impressive.
If I would've
Regenerative
known that
medicine?
With Halloween coming up, I should have just dressed up.
That's
Right?
right. That's what it should have been. Dang.
Oh, man.
We should have done, you know what?
Let's
we should
redo it.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just-
All right, we're going to book
just
this
redo it.
again, start it over.
All right, sorry.
Wolverine.
Show's over. See y'all later. We're just kidding. Hang out, please.
All right, ladies and gents, before we get started with the Wolverine stories, 365 pairs of shoes by the end of the year. If you got new shoes, used shoes, or you want to donate cash, hit James up 619-884-0045 or james at csfirst.com. 100 pairs away. So if you got new shoes, used shoes, hit us up. We're going to get there as soon as possible. James also does insurance, by the way. So if you need homeowners, you need auto, you need life, you need commercial, you need any type of insurance policy, or maybe you want to add insurance into your particular business. Maybe you have a mortgage company. Maybe you have a tax office. Hit James up 619-884-0045 or james at csfirst.com. And it's a beautiful, sunny week in sunny California. You need to be taking advantage of that sun. Drunko.net/business bros is where you need to go so you can get your solar done. Look, they don't actually install the solar. All they're doing is helping you shop for solar in an easy way. So go to drunko.net/business bros. They'll send out a drone, take pictures of your rooftop, take all the measurements, send it over to roofing companies, send it to all the solar companies. You sit back and let the quotes pile up in front of you. Choose the one that works for you. And that's it. It's easy. Make solar shopping easy and fun. And if you do book an appointment by November 30th, you're going to be entered into a drawing to win $150. So make sure you get it done. Drunko.net/business bros. James, Echo.
Echo, already fixed it.
Boom. I just remembered when I heard the little sound thing. All right, let's do this. I want to know about this regenerative. Well, you know what? Before we get into, Wolverine style stuff, BJ, tell me a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into this industry?
Well, I've been in the industry, medical industry, since 2004. So 2004, med device sales, just in the trenches, out just like pharmaceutical sales, med device sales, and been in the industry ever since, just with different organizations. It started off with durable medical equipment, and then software services that were in the medical field, and then owned my own medical device company for about 6 years, and now we're here.
You always want to be in the medical field? Like, you went to high school and you're like, this is what I'm going to do? Or you just kind of stumbled into it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say stumbled into it, but while I was in college, I went to, my degree, my undergrad is in science. I then went to take prereqs for med school, and ended up going into law school for a little bit when I first started my other company, and I just figured it was my niche, and I've been doing it ever since.
Nice. So how'd you venture into this one? You've been in sales, and then you decided, I'm gonna start this other company, or how did this come about?
So it's kind of funny how we got here. So I already was running my own medical device company, Belair Medical, that I started back in 2012. So I was actually in Spain on vacation. We were about to hop onto a boat, and I got a call from a consultant that was working for another stem cell company that was based out of La Jolla. And long story short, I was recruited as their director of patient advocacy, director of sales. within a year and a half, managing director for the organization. Long story short, that company is no longer in existence. And I've created my own company and kind of fixed a lot of the issues that I felt were going on in the industry, in the marketplace. And now we have BrexoBio, which is continuing to service patients across the world.
So tell me, because I have this fantasy overview of what stem cell is, and then it's also got this stigma of, you're recreating stuff, and is it right? Is it ethical? All this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Help me clarify like what's going on so we get a good understanding of what stem cell research and what is it actually?
Absolutely. I'd love to talk about that. So there is a lot of controversy with what's going on and what is a stem cell. And then there's genes, there's, genetic testing that those that are not familiar with the industry will combine all into one. Mm-hmm. So growing things in a lab and all that, that's not what we do. So what we're looking at is using a patient's own stem cells that we all have in our body, right? Every organ, every tissue in our body has resident stem cells that we use to fix and repair itself. They're just called to action by cytokine responses within the body that will be called to use when there's an injury, inflammation, or damage to a specific part of the body. If you were to cut your hand, that's essentially this inflammatory response that draws cells to the area to repair tissue at a cellular level. So that's what we're doing. We're not growing things in a laboratory and then transplanting it into a patient. We're using a patient's own healing abilities and just amplifying that and helping them when their body can't do it themselves.
So theoretically, if someone sat on their brother's Harley wearing shorts and burned their leg on the exhaust pipe, what you're doing is helping. Right?
Dummy.
Yeah, that actually happened, right? So you're.
So is that you?
No, that was me. It was his Harley. I sat on it like an idiot. Right, burned my leg. See, look, nice little burn right there.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
so
we can get you set up soon.
Right. So that's exactly what you're trying to do is help people heal at a faster rate, so that basically advancing their body to help heal it faster, better.
Correct. So what we're trying to do is help patients regain their life. So that would be pretty acute, like an injury like that. And yes, can stem cells help with it? Absolutely. But our focus is more on neurodegenerative, neurological issues, chronic conditions, and autoimmune diseases.
So we're talking things like Parkinson's?
Parkinson's, their second most treated condition, followed by multiple sclerosis. And then other autoimmune diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, diabetes type 1, stroke, as well as traumatic brain injuries, probably being within the top 10 conditions that we treat. So
it's almost, if correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know very much about a lot of this stuff, but so if I'm hearing you correctly, it's kind of like a cut in your hand, except now we're talking about a cut in like almost like a genetic code, like something that's been passed on to you, like Parkinson's, like something it's not something you've contracted, right?
Correct.
But you're trying to help alleviate the communication in nerves or synapses or whatever's going on.
Yes and no. So when we look at, let's say our main diagnosis, right, that we treat the most of is the multiple sclerosis. It's their immune system. Their immune system is sending macrophages to the brain and damaging the nerves. So if we were to look at, let's say, like the cord of your iPhone, like the charger, if we were to shave off the rubber around it, it would create what's a lesion, and that's happening in the patient's brain. So when there's dozens of lesions within the brain, it disrupts the communication between the nerve and parts of the body, whether that's in their face, cognitive function, movement in their legs and their feet, causes pain, causes a wide array of symptoms. Now, their body has the ability to heal itself, but when it's progressive autoimmune disease, their body can't necessarily keep up with the breakdown that's happening. So we take their own body stem cells and we process it in a laboratory, we isolate it, we activate them to ensure that they are viable stem cells, and we administer it back into the patient. So that a good way to look at it in simplest terms is let's throw in hundreds, if not millions, of construction workers to help repair the damage on this broken house, right? Versus just 10 that are currently working on it right now. So we process upwards of hundreds of millions of stem cells and help their body heal at a faster rate.
And is this something like just any patient can come like do, or are you facilitating like research for hospitals, or how's this? What's the end? What's the approach so that it finally gets to a consumer?
So we're not, although what we do in our protocols, our medical treatment protocols, and the type of treatment that we do, which is bone marrow derived stem cell therapy and adipose derived stem cells, that's backed by a lot of research on PubMed and Medline, evidence-based research in medicine. Now, we're not a research facility. We're providing live treatments to patients. And most of the patients that we're treating, they're not coming for clinical trials. We don't promote it or present it as a clinical trial. These patients have exhausted all options with conventional medicine. They've gone to their doctor. They've been diagnosed for 5-10 years, and they're not getting results. And their doctor doesn't have a solution for them. It's medication after medication with side effect after side effect, and their condition continues to worsen. So they've given up hope. Well, they've never explored this option, alternative medicine, where we can assist them in being able to tackle the disease, in some case knock it out, where they don't experience the symptoms they've been suffering from for the last 10-15 years.
So is something that can help like with maybe spinal injuries or like with like herniated discs and stuff like that, or are you guys strictly sticking to like those immune diseases?
It can help with musculoskeletal conditions and orthopedic conditions, and there's a lot of benefit a patient can get. But when we look at it, this is an out-of-pocket expense for most patients. It's not covered by insurance. This type of treatment specifically in the U.S. is not covered or approved by the FDA. So patients are paying out of pocket. They're stepping outside of the box of conventional medicine, so they need to be really motivated, right? Mm-hmm. And I've found that most patients with a minor orthopedic condition or a musculoskeletal issue that has a way to be repaired or treated within conventional medicine, let's say through a surgery, aren't going to be that motivated to step outside of the box.
And it's mainly because of the coverage, right? Because of the cost associated?
Part of it, yes. And again, most of our patients have exhausted all options. Like if you have an orthopedic issue, let's say the burn from the Harley, you can get that treated at the doctor for a while, and eventually it's going to start to heal. But let's say after 4 years, if there's this open ulcer that continues to not heal or grows in size, then you're going to start to explore other options because you're not getting the treatment or the results you've been looking for. And so that's where we come in.
I know a couple people who have either recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's or are starting to head towards where they're starting to tremble more, they're starting to lose control in some sort of limbs, and so I've seen a couple videos of big names in the Parkinson's world, like Michael J. Fox, for example, and how his organization has been pumping in millions and millions of dollars for research and stuff like this. How does your company help either push the envelope forward for stuff like this, or is it a part of like one of these organizations?
We're not part of any organization or research facility here in the U.S. So more recently, within the last 9 months or so, there's been a big shift with stem cell therapy in the U.S. The FDA has tried to get involved in regulating the industry like a drug, and that's limited clinics like ourselves to operate freely in the U.S. because of all these guidances and restrictions, which don't necessarily work in the patient's favor, right? From the start, we're always striving to provide safe and effective treatments, but if there's certain guidances that prevent us from doing a specific treatment or processing the cells in a certain way to get the patient better results, then we're not giving the patient the best treatment that they can get. So what we've done is we've just moved away from that to focus primarily on results. And now all of our treatments, majority of our treatments, depending on the type of stem cell therapy, is going to be done in Mexico, both in Tijuana and Cancun is where our current treatment facilities are.
What is the FDA trying to prevent? Obviously, both the FDA and companies like yours are trying to do what's right for the consumer, right? Ultimately, they're both trying to do.
We would hope, yeah.
Right, that's the intended goal. Yeah. But what is it that their biggest concern is? Like, what are they so worried about? What are they trying to regulate?
So a big part of it is they're saying it's unproven treatments. Yet there's dozens and dozens of evidence-based research, right, from what they look at to be proof that these type of treatments provide a positive benefit for patients. Yet again, I don't think anybody can deny that there's other political agendas. And one way to put it is a pharmaceutical company can fast track a medication that helps with inflammation in your feet. Yet there's 100 different side effects, including death. Yet we can't get our own cells approved to treat our own condition.
There's a lot of that goes on that I see a lot. You know, I mean, the pharmaceutical industry is a huge industry. I mean, there's a lot of money that goes into there, which means there's a lot of money that goes into lobbying, which means you get a lot of, you know, things that get passed in, you know, if you look at the bill that became law to free the slaves, it was on one page. Yeah. Right? One page. Mm-hmm. Today when a law is passed, it's a freaking book. Yeah. Yeah. And so what else is in that book? It's stuff like this. It's stuff that's, you know, scratch my back, I scratch yours. I funded you, help me get this thing passed. Yeah. And so there's a lot of stuff that goes on the back end, which really makes me wonder a lot of times, you know, and things like, and I don't know how true it is, but every time I get a flu shot, I get sick. I stopped getting a flu shot. Yeah. And I'll still get sick every once in a while, but it happens to me at that one point, and then I'm over it and on to the next. It's almost like I don't want to be pushed in that direction, but there's big money in it. Yeah. You know, there's big money in getting it done. Same thing, you know, I know I work at a school and kids are being medicated all the time. For what? Like, sometimes I don't understand. There's some kids who have an actual, you know, something going on, but, oh yeah, I got that for you. But for the most part, like, just to get attention, like, they're not paying attention, not because they can't pay attention. They're not paying attention because they don't want to learn that stuff's boring. Whoops. Sorry, that stuff's boring. You know, that content is not as you know, but we're medicating them. We keep medicating them. We keep pushing. So there's a lot of money in treatment versus cure. And I feel like your company is working more towards cure, not treatment.
That's very, very true. And we're not going to, just like every medical company or procedure, regardless of the research backing it, we shouldn't be providing any guarantees. And we definitely won't say we're providing a cure. What we're really trying to promote is we have an alternative solution. You don't have to give up hope when you feel you've exhausted all your other options, right? Some of our patients are in their 40s, right, with multiple sclerosis. They have children. Why give up hope? Why allow the disease to take control of your life where you now can't work and you can't enjoy your family? Right?
Options.
So it's an option, and patients have to understand that although there's a lot of research that backs it, and they've done their research on the protocol to be confident that it's a safe and effective treatment, they also have to understand that they're still leaning on the side of hope here, right? Yes. Because we're not going to provide a guarantee. We're not going to steer a patient in the wrong direction. And we're also going to allow them to understand that these are the expectations that you should have walking into this.
Well, you've been in sales for quite some time, and no matter what type of salesperson we talk to, insurance, real estate, title, whatever it is, the really good salespeople always do the same thing. We provide someone with information. Mm-hmm. We help them see that this is an option for the problems that you have, right? You're experiencing X, Y, and Z problems. We're trying to eliminate X, Y, and Z problems. Here is an option. There are other ways you can do it. This is just one option. Mm-hmm. How would you like to proceed?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it's providing people with that information. And I feel like, you know, what you guys are doing, again, I mean, you said it a couple times. It is just, let me show you that this exists. I mean, there's a lot of different things. There's some people who don't want to go to the doctor at all, and they go into completely like, natural medicines, right? You know, all plants, all herbs, and it might work for some people, and it, there's no guaranteed results, but it might be the thing that gets them the I don't want to say cure, but the feeling of, you know, I feel a little bit better today.
Yeah, a little bit of a placebo effect, which, you know, we expect when someone invests money and travels to get a treatment. But, you know, we're looking at a lot of factors here when we take these patients in as well. We're looking at, is your medical profile, is your diagnosis, is your symptoms, everything that we're looking on the front end, is that consistent with patients that we've had success with? And if that's the case, that's just going to give us the confidence we're going to get the same results. Right. So a lot of I think the biggest challenge though with these patients and within the industry and the media is, you mentioned it earlier, like your mind goes in all these directions of, well, when the world's a stem cell, what does it do? What are we trying to accomplish? And all the negative things that people hear are not associated with these types of treatments, right? We're not doing embryonic, we're not engineering our cells, we're not killing off pre-embryo to obtain embryonic stem cells. We're not using birth tissue, right? There's the pros and cons for that, but all we're doing is we're just using a patient's own body cells to help heal them.
We're creating extra. I like how you said it. Extra construction workers. We're just gonna give you the construction that you already have.
That's it. Yeah.
Here's the peeps, and let's get ready to rumble.
That's it. When you mentioned Parkinson's disease, right? So this neurodegenerative condition is their body, for whatever reason, is breaking down and damaging these dopamine producing neurons in the middle of their brain, right? And the progression can go from a few symptoms here and there to 10, 15 symptoms from freezing, tremors, dyskinesia, and so forth after a matter of years, because the breakdown is so severe, right? If I can get stem cells into the brain and replace those dopamine producing neurons, which can happen naturally by just administering the stem cells into the area, then we can reverse some of the symptoms, prevent the patient from experiencing that. And what's even more phenomenal is a lot of these patients that are seeing results, they can taper off some of their medications.
Yeah, because I know I'm telling you, I got a couple buddies that are in that situation, and it seems like every time, every year that goes by, it's like more and more and more medications.
It is,
and they get just they're drained, they're tired, they have a hard time just continue with the day, and I just can see how debilitating that can be on your emotional standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Their
like
family,
their
and
family,
everyone
yeah.
that's taking care of them. And one of the craziest things specifically with Parkinson's is the main medication is what's called carbidopa-levodopa, right? They start off at a small dose, maybe 10 over 100 milligrams, but through the years, that's the neurologist's main tool, right, to combat this disease. So we increase the dosage, they continue to increase it. At a certain point, the dosage is so high, they're taking it multiple times a day, and one of the long-term side effects of that drug is dyskinesia. So most of the symptoms they're experiencing now are amplified because of the medications.
What is dyskinesia?
It's just their symptoms of their body is, for example, like their speech is affected, the movement in their hand, there's the tremors, freezing, slow movement, and these symptoms they're experiencing are now amplified versus how it was prior to them taking the high dosages of the carbidopa-levodopa.
So that ends up being a short-term fix, causing long-term problems.
That's the whole industry. If you look at, just throw out a condition out there, throw out a disease, the pharmaceutical industry and conventional medicine has medications and drugs, but if you look at it, it's a masking effect. We're not treating the underlying cause, right? We're masking the symptoms. We're trying to delay certain symptoms from surfacing, but at the end of the day, we're not addressing what's really going on. When we apply stem cell therapy, not only are we managing symptoms, repairing damage that's occurred, but there's an immunomodulatory benefit. So we're actually trying to address the underlying cause and prevent the body or the immune system from attacking itself. So it's a more comprehensive approach versus just take this drug, take this drug, take this drug to mask what you're experiencing.
Yeah, again, and like you said, it's not that you're promoting a cure, but the way I always understand companies like yours is you're actually working towards a cure, right? Mm-hmm. What you do is trying to prevent the problem, not treat the symptoms.
Correct, absolutely. We're trying to take more of a comprehensive approach to treatment because we already know what they're dealing with. We already know what medications they're on. It's consistent across the board. So we're just trying to provide something else for the patient to give them hope and to give them better results. If a patient has Parkinson's, we're probably not going to cure the patient. But hey, if we can delay the onset of a lot of these symptoms that keep them from living in the rest of their life comfortably, then we've achieved what we were looking to accomplish, right?
Yeah.
We slowed down the progression. We allowed them to continue to live a life, travel, because the onset in a lot of these cases are in the 60s, right? So a lot of these patients still have the potential to live 20, 30 years. Why take that away from them because we haven't given them another option to treat their disease?
So tell me a little bit about like some of your case studies where you've seen success, like some of the great stories that you've had within the company.
Absolutely. So there's been, since I've been in the industry, there's been probably 1,000 plus patients that we've treated with full-blown stem cell therapy. One, and to protect, of course, patient privacy, I'll just more describe the scenario. We've had a boy, he was 15, first treatment, car accident, pulled out of a burning car, spinal cord injury. So he wasn't moving, he was bedridden, came in for his first treatment. His doctor, which is unique as well, is the one that referred him to get treatment. Most doctors within conventional medicine won't give their patient a blessing to get the treatment. They want to keep them within their treatment plan, right?
Yeah.
Well, she had no other option, sent the patient to us for treatment. 2 years later, they've gone through 2 treatments. The boy is walking. He's in school, still has some issues with speech, which is expected from the severity of the accident, but he's living his life, right? And that is because he stepped outside of the box. His doctor told him that we don't have anything for you here. So
That's amazing,
this is what you need to try. And they took a leap of faith, made it happen. It was probably one of the youngest children or people that we've treated, because usually we try to stay within 18 or older and under the age of 85. But we got results, and it's somewhat phenomenal. Usually you hear these stories and a lot of people say, that's not true. But when we see it, we had video testimonials on it, and it just goes to show that what we're doing is truly effective.
Well, let's go a little bit like hypothetical, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, in fantasy world, we do have those Wolverine type people, right? Yeah. And I always like to think that in the sci-fi world, there's some basis to reality. Things that we thought were impossible and super amazing for some reason end up coming true. I'm talking, we're videotaping today on cell phones that didn't exist 15 years ago. Yeah. You know what I mean? 15, 20 years ago.
I can talk on the phone on my wristwatch like Dick Tracy.
Or like, yeah, exactly. Or like Michael Knight, right? So, where do you think, do you even see this in the realm of possibility of something like that, where we're able to, use stem cells to like grow back limbs or, do some amazing things like that?
I do. So there's a few different branches of biology here that we're talking about, right? So we have stem cells in regenerative medicine, and then we have genetics and genomics, or genomes, right? The study of the genes that will, I think if we're combining those together, that would take us to that level of where we're regrowing certain limbs. And I know that they're accomplishing this in other countries, but it's just, when are we going to get to the point here in the US to catch up with what they're doing? Stem cell therapy in China, stem cell therapy even in the Philippines has been going on. It's approved, right? Patients are getting results. They're not restricted by the government for most types of treatments, or certain types of treatments. So when you look at it, although there's so much technology and we're supposed to be advanced here, we're still limited. Why can't we provide these treatments the way they're intended to be here in the U.S.?
It's funny, man. I say jokingly all the time, I don't plan on dying. I'm just going to, by the time I get old, I'm just going to go to Walmart, buy an arm, buy a heart, or whatever I need, like jokingly say that. But you never know, like with the advances, I mean, Terminator is a possibility. Like Google could become self-aware. I can ask Google for pretty much anything. It'll get delivered to my door. You know what I mean? Like all these fantasy things are possibilities in the future.
They've done 3D printing for certain surgeries, for like joints or musculoskeletal conditions, for injuries and surgeries, using 3D printing for certain procedures, which is, I mean, insane. I thought that was just for like art.
Yeah, that's crazy. No, but I mean, it's always fascinating to me to talk about stuff that isn't quite here yet, but is in the realm of, well, maybe. Yeah. Right. Nothing's. I'm almost to the point where nothing's impossible. Yeah. Right. Everything starts as a thought, as a small process, and maybe right now today we're still dealing with preventing something like Parkinson's taking full blown effect. Right. Yeah. Not curing it, but preventing it from coming about. But I feel like with continued research with what we're doing, as we open the knowledge base for a lot of people, let them become aware of what your industry is doing and how it's doing it, so they can kind of understand. Yeah. Especially in the age of technology today, like you can put stuff online and people will start to understand. And I think we get, years of that, and then we get people grow up and become officials and become in office and move towards the right direction, that it's not out of the realm of possibility that we can at some point cure.
No, I agree.
Right?
I agree. I think that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're working for. And I think we're several years away from full-blown approval for all the types of procedures that we know to be effective for our patients. But being in the industry and seeing the results that we've seen, I can't stand back and just wait for that to happen when we've already achieved results with hundreds, if not thousands of patients in the recent years. So what we've done is really just tore down all the barriers that are keeping patients from getting this type of treatment, from cost compared to what it was in the U.S., the distance to clinic because of our 2 locations on the West Coast and on the East Coast, the types of treatments, right? We're not restricted to just one type of treatment that many clinics were offering. So we're making sure that we're giving patients what they need for results and not just to keep it within a certain political agenda or corporate policy or anything like that.
It's all about people helping people. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Man, dude, great show. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me, man.
It was definitely super interesting. I love just taking, again, like understanding and learning what you guys are doing, but at the same time kind of thinking, wow, like where could we go with this?
Yeah, I know it's a shift from a lot of the other episodes you've had, but I appreciate you having me on.
No, of course, man. Like we're always open to learn about different things, right? Yeah. You're in business.
Yeah.
We're the business bros. So you're in business and, it might not be selling houses, but you're helping people enjoy life, right? Yeah. I mean, my why is to help you become a better you so that you find passion and happiness passion and happiness in life. So, what you're doing is doing that. You're helping people become better versions of themselves.
Absolutely.
In ways that they can't do themselves, but they absolutely want to every single day. They're fighting things that it's not, they didn't make a mistake. It's just their deck of cards that they were drawn. And you guys are helping them, shuffle that deck in a little bit better way.
In a perfect world, they wouldn't have been diagnosed. You wouldn't have the stroke. You wouldn't have the traumatic brain injury. You wouldn't have the disease. But then it's, what can we do now to fix it?
Exactly.
Or manage it.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the Ask the Bros section, right? So while you think of a question to ask us, I'm going to let the audience know 365 pairs of shoes, ladies and gentlemen. If you got new shoes, used shoes, or you want to donate cash, hit James up 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. We're also in the insurance business, ladies and gents. I don't know, maybe you want to get a license. Hit up Mike Russ Schools, get your insurance license. Then we can add an insurance department into your company. Or wait, you don't want to do the work? That's cool. We'll take care of that for you too. Hit James up 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. Make sure you guys take advantage of the sun that's outside. DroneQuote.net/business bros. They're going to send a drone out to your house, measure the rooftop via drone, send the quotes, send the measurements over to solar companies, send it over to roofing companies. You sit back, look at the quotes, pick the one that works for you, and boom, get your solar on. 619-884-0045 for James, DroneQuote.net/business bros for drone, for solar. That's it, right? That's our 3 promos.
That's it.
All right, cool.
There you go.
I got that. I was like, am I forgetting something? It's Friday.
No, you're doing all right. You got it.
All right, so what do you think? What you got for us, BJ?
All right. Well, I want you to touch. I kind of asked you before we were live here. 322 episodes, huh?
Uh-huh.
In what, less than a year?
No, a little over a year.
Okay.
July was our 1 year anniversary. So what are we in October? So another year and 3 months.
Okay. So how did that come about?
Oh man, we want to get in front of people. Tell them what it is we do. I mean, you're in sales. How do you get in front of more people every single day?
Yeah.
How do I get in front of people and share what our business is in?
Yeah.
Well,
share stories, share what we have to offer. And
we started with the podcast, but when we started the podcast, nobody cared, nobody listened until we started bringing people on the show. And we made the show about you guys. And as soon as we made the show about you guys, we got to talk to your audience and friends and family because they want to see you.
Yeah.
You were going to share their episode because it's your stuff. And then we get to introduce each other.
Yeah.
So like one of the things we're going to ask you after the show is who runs your insurance, bro? Right? But that's what we're going to do. We make sure that now we've made a connection. So I don't know what relationship you have with your brokers or insurance people at all, but at least we'll be able to be in contact. And, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, well, at least we're in a position to hear no. Right? You're in sales, right?
Yeah.
If you don't put yourself in a position to hear no, you're not doing sales.
Yeah.
Period. So the podcast helps us do that on both ends.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. Now, last little thing, BJ. I want you to look into this camera right here. See that handsome guy right there? And I want you to tell people how they get a hold of you if they want to get more information.
BJ Retuya here with BrexoBio. If you're interested in more information, go to email us at info@brexobio.com or give us a ring at 833-396-7663.
Cool. And you can just point down. That contact info is right there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. Wolverine is sometime, some far away in the future. We're looking for it, but in the meantime, we're going to help you out. Take care of those things that you got going on. Reach out. It's just another way to approach the situation. Don't run out of hope. Hope is always there. Let's figure out a way to help you out. That's all we got for you guys today. Peace.
Peace.
We're this close.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Spread positivity. Whoop, whoop. Bye, Facebook. Appreciate you. Love you. Happy birthday, Mama.
Man.
Yeah. I forgot to say happy birthday to Mom.
Redo it all over again.